Now I'm going to show you how to draw a sphere. So this is probably the hardest one to draw. So when you're drawing a sphere, draw a circle as best you can. Now say it comes out all lopsided. What you're going to do is not erase the whole thing. You're going to fix it a little at a time. So I'm going to add in what's missing, and I'm going to subtract out what I don't need. I'll keep adding. It's not quite right. I've got an extra little section here. I'm going to subtract this out. I'm going to keep going until I get that right. You can also start by kind of using your hand as a compass and turning it. You can even turn your paper a little bit if you wanted to. You could practice this a little bit, and the more you do it, the better you'll get. This one is probably the hardest overall to draw and to shade. It's the most different. It's the most organic. Most of them have mostly straight lines. This one is a curve all the way around. So on this one, we want the highlight around here. But what I see a lot of times is this, a dark circle, like a bowling ball, and shadow around it. So we don't want that. We want it blended more. So you want to leave this area lighter, but then you want to shade around it. You could blend it out later with your finger or with a paper towel, or if you have a stump, you could use that. We want it blended so you can't really see an outline around that highlight. That's the biggest mistake I see from students. And again, always making sure that you're including that contour line into your actual drawing so that it doesn't have an outline. And at this point, I'm trying to just get this shaded lighter, very light, and then get darker and start to get darker as it comes down toward the bottom. Now the darkest area is going to be right about here, because we have the light that bounces up off of your surface and reflects onto it here. So it's going to be a little bit lighter right about there. Oh, I'm making it darker in this area here, and I'm adding more layers. I'm trying not to get too many hard lines that I can't blend out. So again, I blended it, but it's sort of turning the same shade of gray, kind of that medium gray, and we want a nice dark here, so we want to go back into it and darken it, more pencil. And if it doesn't look like it's part of the drawing, make sure that you blend it out a little, just a little bit, so that you don't lose that value, but it's darker. Now, if I decide to turn it and I don't want to smudge, I'm going to take some scrap paper and I'm going to put it under my hand and cover my other drawing so I don't smudge that and get it all over my hand and all over my paper. Okay, so what I want to do at this point is kind of go back, take a look at it, and see if there are any hard lines that I need to get rid of, any outlines or any lines outside the edge of the paper, the sphere that I just drew, and clean it up a little bit. So I want to go back in here and just make that edge become part of this rest of this, so it was a little lighter, and that part's a little bit darker here, so I'm going to just go back in. I'm not putting a dark outline. I'm making the value go right up to the edge and end there. Okay, now I want to make my shadow. I'll darken this a little bit. Okay, so this has a very tiny shadow underneath, and then the rest kind of comes out and makes sort of a oval shape. And again, this should be the darkest value. I kind of cut into this side a little bit here. I want to fix this up. And that is how you draw a sphere and shade it.